Sneak peek at yet another vintage computer feature, and wow, is that ever a mouthful, Productions presents a computer video, but not a vintage one. This is my print server that I'm running, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's serving me well. See what this is. Nothing particularly special, but there's a lot of people that have been clamoring. Well, you could do all of that with one system. I'm referring, of course, to all of this. And I'm probably not wrong, but doing it all with one system means that if it breaks, then I lose everything. The other thing that people have been saying is that I should get some Mini-ITX hardware, and I have done just that. So we're going to replace this one with some Mini-ITX hardware. Hopefully. I guess we'll find out. Before I do that, I've gone ahead and plugged this in to a kilowatt meter so we can see how much power this machine uses. Not really a whole lot, it's about 50. We're finishing up the power on self-test. And now we are booting into Linux. So you can see we're really not using a whole lot of power at all, about 30 watts. What we have here is the new hardware. This is an ASRock Q1900B-ITX. It is, of course, Mini-ITX hardware. And it is completely fanless. I do not believe you need to use a fan with this. There are fans in the case. I might plug them in. I haven't decided yet. This is the version that uses the ATX power supply. There is a version of this board that would use the a DC input, which would probably be right here in place of these PS2 ports. But I wanted this one because it has the PS2 ports and it's got the VGA, which are two things that I need for this setup. You know, yes, I've got I think I do have an extra PS2 to USB adapter, but I'd rather not waste it on this when I don't have to. It's got two SATA ports, which is all that I'll ever need for this. Looks like they thought maybe about putting a USB 3.0 header and didn't do it. But again, this case doesn't have one, so I'm not wasting that. Other things this has, there's your front panel right there. The second serial port. This does have a serial port on board. The parallel port, of course, is on board, which is nice for something like this, because I might actually at some point plug in a printer that uses the parallel port. It uses SODIMM laptop memory, which is a little limiting, but I believe that this has got 8 gigabytes of RAM, two 4 gig modules. The existing hardware has got 16 gigabytes, but I don't need 16 gigabytes for what I'm doing. In fact, it's questionable whether or not I need 8, but I figured we might as well use the 8. It came with the RAM anyway, so there's that. Alright, let me go install this in the case. Alright, here's the existing hardware. This is an Asus P8B75 with an i7-3770 on it. So, again, I don't really need that kind of performance. And it looks like this actually has bulging caps on it, too. Look at that. That's quality. What are those? Might not be able to tell till I take the board out. Okay, there's the board removed. Now, who makes these capacitors? That I pulled out. ATWY? I don't know what that is. Hard to say. TK? Yeah, those are garbage. Not really a surprise there. But, oh well. Unfortunately, I don't have an I/O shield for this new board, so it's just going to kind of sit in there. I'll have to buy a new plate. There it is, in place. I'm going to run it for the time being without the fan, and we'll see what happens. How much power it uses. All this other stuff. Okay, switch is on. We're using 1 watt at idle. Now it's on. 27, 20, 21, about 18, 21 watts. Sitting here at idle. Eight gigs of RAM. So, one thing that I would like to do with this is we'll try internet flash and we'll see what happens. Still between 18 and 22 watts worth of usage. I don't know if it's actually on my network. Looks like it is. Yeah, it's there. Cannot connect to internet. Well, that's interesting. Okay, I went ahead and I saved the changes. Looks like it is loading off of the hard drive now, and the power usage didn't change a whole lot. I think it's loading off the hard drive. The hard drive light is on. Yeah, here it comes, although kind of interesting that the video isn't loading. That's fine. So it basically cut the power usage in half. It's certainly not a bad proposition. So I'll let this boot. I'll make sure my network is actually working. And I will have to change the IP address on the DHCP server. But we can do that. Again, as long as everything is actually functioning. I do feel some warmth, but it's not uncomfortable or anything like that. Now, I wonder if I could actually do this. Don't try this at home, kids. If I plug in the fan, and the fan starts running, power usage increased by like about 3 to 4 watts just with that fan. I'll go ahead and I'll just leave it unplugged because we don't need it. So I may even pull it out. No, it is on the network, so I guess there's one thing. Okay, so we're now updating the BIOS on this thing from USB. So let that thing go. And then I will go ahead and install it back in the rack. Okay, close that up. Here's about what the usage of the rack is right now. Let's go ahead and power this thing on and see what it does. Most of what's actually on this UPS is this thing here. So this is on my list of boxes to replace pretty soon as well. Not with an ITX system though. I need something a little bit bigger for that, but it's coming. And it's not like I don't have the hardware to do it. So the graphics performance isn't going to be nearly as good, but again, I don't have this thing for the graphics. This thing is here for the network. So, it's the network. Well, I guess technically it is here for the network, but it's here for printers. We'll go into settings and just make sure that the printer is good. See if I can find it here. It's this one. I'm going to print a test page. Okay. Let's make sure it actually prints a test page here. Which it looks like it's about to do, so that's good. I should check to make sure that other devices can print to it, but for the time being, it should be fine. This is an extremely slow printer. Picked this up at OR CamFest a couple of years ago for free. And it's hard to complain considering it was free. And that's pretty much it for that. Went ahead and put an ITX board in this because the people have been clamoring for ITX, and I'll be honest, it is something that I was looking at playing around with for a change. I haven't really had any ITX systems before this. Stay tuned, because I have one more. That's right. I have another one here. Slightly different model. This isn't the same. Need to get some RAM for that first. I have to pilfer it from something. I have a MacBook Pro sitting around here somewhere. I'll probably just pull the RAM out of that, but I'm not ready for it yet because I need a case, because it's going to actually replace this. But until then, folks, thanks for watching, and if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below.